I got in trouble in Casper. I got a felony. I got put in prison. I spent 45 months altogether in the prison system. So I got back out. I come back over here to the reservation. To me, I guess nowadays that since I've gotten here and realizing that, having a steady job and all that stuff like that, there's a lot of benefits to that. I've gotten married and I've got a child I got to look after now and all that, I've been, I guess, doing good as compared to my former situation, It has taught me a lot, I guess, what a person really thinks as to, where he needs to go in this life.
A lot of the tribes that did acquire casinos, it provided a source of revenue for the tribes as far as assistance, Indian Health Service assistance, and elderly and handicapped, and welfare, education. So we thought we'd try to negotiate with the state.
Yeah, it's been real positive. I've got to learn, more of the tribal members. I've never worked for the tribe in all my life, but being here at the casino has been pretty good because then I got to really know the tribal members, get back to seeing my family more, and really getting to relate with a lot of the community here in Riverton and Rappole.
The casino is doing really well. With the economic downturn, we start to feel it a little bit, but instead what's happening is instead of going to Las Vegas, people are coming here. And so we are keeping the money in the state, and it's actually benefited us, and our numbers are starting to increase. We currently have about 560 employees, give or take. Our turnover rate is not as high as it used to be, so we're retaining a lot more employees. And we are looking at adding an additional 50 when we have our hotel built. Well, one of the things that is emphasized at the casino is training. We recently received a workforce award for our training. We spend about $1 million a year. And it's generally it is mostly about customer service and about how to improve your work ethic. But we also have offered classes about budgeting. And we also offer a benefit where if an employee wants to go to college and the class relates to their job, say in marketing, if you want to go take a graphic design class, you can go take the graphic design class, and after you've successfully completed it, we will pay you for that class.
I started in housekeeping and when I wanted to return to school, and I was looking for money to supplement my education. So I started here in housekeeping, and I worked through the second semester of my education, and then I went back to work for the tribe. As initially I worked for the radio station for the tribe, and I continued to work there, and then I decided a few years later that I would come back, and I was looking to get hired right away, and so I applied through housekeeping again, and it just happened that customer service had a spot open.
Nowadays I come over here. I've been here for 15 months now. To me, I guess nowadays that since I've gotten here and realizing that, having a steady job and all that stuff like that, there's a lot of benefits to that. I've gotten married and I've got a child I got to look after now and all that, I've been, I guess, doing good as compared to my former situation,
That was when the marketing director, Jackie Dorothy, also decided that she needed some help in her department with the chambers. We are members of 21 chambers in the state of Wyoming, and we use the chambers as another tool in advertising and promoting our business outside of the area and throughout the state really. So she had asked me to come help, and with her permission I went part-time into marketing, and eventually I worked as a chamber coordinator for the Wind River Casino for about 1.5 years, and now as of August of 2010 I've been working in marketing full-time, and I work as the marketing coordinator for the Wind River Casino and its properties.
The casino was established to provide employment for the Arapaho people. And many of our tribal members have not held a steady job. And so we had to develop something so that an environment which encouraged work ethic, but also gave them a second, third, sometimes 10 chances.
I have an anxiety disorder. So at the time it was very optional as far as what kind of work I was going to try and do. So I decided to try at the casino, and I talked to a person by the name of Carl Weller, which is the food and beverage manager. And I explained to him my situation, that I wanted to work, but yet I had kind of like a disorder, basically, mental disorder as far as anxiety goes. So I was kind of limited as far as working full time.
And what we do is that when an employee quits, they are allowed to come back after 6 months. And then, because to give you an example, is what was generally happening is somebody would be working, they'd get their first paycheck, and they'd quit. Then they would come back and say, oh, I made a mistake, I want my job back. And then they would get their job back, and then they would usually last then about 2 to 4 months, and then they quit again. On average, the third time that they came back, they would stay.
But then Carl Weller said that he would work with me and gave me the chance to have the opportunity to just work and see how I did. And he just based it off of how I felt.
It's been a long journey for me. It's really helped me because I had a lot of people that supported me, that showed me how to do my job. I took the initiative and just continued to learn, and I continue to learn today and apply that to everything that I do.
Having a regular permanent job at this casino here, has its benefits. It's pays not too good, but it's a regular job. It helps me pay my bills. It helps me realize that life ain't no game.
We now have established loyalty to the organization, and there's a sense of ownership as well. This is our casino. It's not someone else's. It's not some person in Japan or some stakeholder. We are the stakeholders.
Well, in the beginning, when we first decided to, when I say we, this is a lot of the councilmen before me, they kind of initiated this process. So when I say we, I'm referring to a lot of the past councils. And we initiated. We had 3 hearings on whether to allow gaming or not, and 3 public hearings. And then out of those hearings, there's different questions on how we would utilize the revenue. Education has been our number one priority throughout Indian country. So the board for the Sky People Higher Education come up with a idea where they would we would give them part of the revenue, a percentage.
Sky People provide scholarships for higher education learning, college students, vocational training, adult education. We do that kind of financial aid assistance.
A benefit for the tribal college is that that's where all our funding comes from. In their rules and regulations of how many money is dispersed with the game, and there's a section there that deals with education, and that's how we're funded through the Wind River Casino, and that's 100% of our funding comes from the Wind River Casino.
How the funding from the casino came about was a resolution through the Business Council. They approved a 3% of the net profits for the casino to go into an Arapaho Sky People endowment fund. that fund is set up to fund our future generations because a third of our tribe is 25 and under.
Our relationship with the casino personnel is pretty good. You know, we get along really well with the CEO, and they've always supported higher education. Cheryl Morrow, Jim Conrad, Andrew Clifford, and Carl. And so, you know, and they know the importance of higher education, and they've also, you know, assisted us in other student projects that we've done here at the Tribal College. They've assisted in some of our student travel to the American Indian Higher Education Consortium student conference in the past 4 or 5 years. And in one of our art classes, they funded that project, and currently our student artwork is hanging in the Red Willow Casino.
If we were not to receive those funds, our program probably would not exist. The money that we've received from the casino go to an investment account. We don't even touch that money because we're building up for tomorrow. Because all our children, all our grandchildren, we need to meet their needs.
And I think the future was going to look good for, you know, our children and our grandchildren, because that's what we're doing right now. We're looking, you know, 15, 20 years down the road, you know, for our tribes here on the Wind River, and you know, in 10 or 15 years, you know, we foresee, you know, our own campus, you know, and an enrollment about anywhere from 300 to 500 students.
The Indian Gaming Regulatory Act was an act that allowed for tribes to negotiate with the state for a gaming compact. And a gaming compact would be negotiated between the tribes and the state if the state allowed certain games within the state. So in the case of the state of Wyoming, they did have Las Vegas style charitable gaming for fundraising activities. So we were allowed to negotiate with the state under those terms. But the state failed to negotiate, so we filed a suit against the state under the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act.
Part of it is that I think the reservation was never really recognized by the state government in so many avenues until we started raising the issues about tax, jurisdiction, and water concerns. And we were always, as a tribe, in a position of trying to uphold our position, which wasn't always the same as the state's opinion. So when the tribes moved forward to look into the gaming industry, it wasn't a surprise that the state was against the tribe doing something like that, particularly in some interpretations that gaming was possible within a state if the state already had gaming.
After we filed a lawsuit, we cited the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act. If the state permitted different games, then we were allowed, but the state failed to negotiate. So then we were assigned a mediator, and the mediator ruled in favor of the tribe under the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act. But the mediator didn't rule in favor of us having Class 3 gaming.
And so it was up to the Arapaho tribe and their attorneys to figure out a way to show that the state already was involved in gaming, even though it wasn't high stakes gaming as we see today here at the casino, but it was gaming in terms of casino nights in places like Cody and in Evanston. There was pari-mutuel horse betting and those kinds of things that already existed. But the state didn't recognize that as being a gaming opportunity or hospitality business. So when the tribes came forward, the Arapaho tribe came forward to pursue that, they had to prove in the court that the state already was involved in gaming and the state was denying that. So they dug in their heels, the state, and we had to go all the way through all the processes and procedure to get gaming available here in Wyoming. And so we were the only tribe to do that. The pitfall, though, for the state is they don't share in any of the revenues.
The tribe and the state both appealed. So we appealed to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals to a 3-judge panel. And a 3-judge panel ruled in favor of the tribes to allow full gamut of Las Vegas-style gambling that included all gambling that was allowed in the state of Las Vegas. State of Nevada and Las Vegas, and that included roulette, blackjack, slots, and the full gamut.
I have had some discussion with some state legislators, and they were interested in making some compacts with the tribes to have some gaming opportunities in Evanston and Cheyenne, close to 2 other state borders, Utah and Colorado. This was early on when I became the tribal liaison, but I haven't heard much discussion along those lines since. And the questions I do receive, though, are, well, how's the casino doing? It's sort of a downgraded attitude. And my upbeat response is, the casino is doing very well. We've got 600 people working. We've created a lot of opportunity for our younger people. Every person at the casino has now become a role model, and there's a variety of things that make the gaming and hospitality very positive here.
After the 3-judge panel, the state requested to have another hearing before a full 12-judge panel, and it was granted. Their request was granted, so we went before a 12-judge panel, and the outcome was 9 in favor and a 3 against. So we won that appeal again. So we were allowed to have Class 3 gaming, and the result of that, where the state failed to negotiate, there was no revenue sharing, where they won't be charged tax, and we were, and now we are the only tribe in the nation that is self-regulated.
I see us going international and becoming, one of the things, I'll back up real quick, is that if you look at the casino, we are one of the biggest attractions, and once we have our hotel, we're going to become a destination, and we will be the 3rd largest destination in Wyoming. Number 1 is Yellowstone, number 2 is Cody, number 3 will be us. That's our goal, and that's our dream, and it's starting to come true.
We need to start our own economic development, have our own enterprises expand, and then have our own shopping centers, our own stores, and then to assist a lot of our entrepreneurs.
I guess the second chance really comes from within, not from without, not from this. But it has its, I guess, potential to make one have a positive second chance if he really wants to pursue that. As a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people come in and out of here during my 15 months here. I guess in a sense of taking things serious. I guess you got to learn the hard way by experience in order to understand really what that's about. Second chance, yeah, it has. It's given me, I guess, positive outlook as to where I need to be. And it has given me a second chance, I guess, and I hope that's the only chance it's going to give me is a second one. I don't want a third one.
About it. It's kind of a job that I never thought I'd do, but it's been a pretty fun experience. And so long as the casino staff and the higher ups continue to strive for better for employees, and I'll continue to be there and do just the same.
Well, for myself and how long I would work here, I think it really goes back a lot to my tribe, my people. I want something to be here for them, you know, and we want to continue to build and we want to continue to expand. And I say that as a tribal member, but I also speak as a mother because I have 4 children. And I learned a lot. I learned about, I have good work ethic, but I need my children to have a place to get started. I need my children to have something to look forward to, you know, that there's a place for them to go when they're ready, if they need that extra help, if they, you know, if they're willing to work for what it is that they have, that they want, that they can start here.